So here's another problem that could be solved with for loop. Find the highest score inside a list of scores. Use for loop. For example, we say count scores equals to 25, 13, 66, 33, 99, 88, 75, 12, 7. Now, if we look at this, we see like we have these scores and the function should give us back this score. This score, if we want to use for loop, for example, we have the base case, which almost always starts from 0. We have a condition which almost always runs through that scores.length or array.length, and then we have a function which could say like an if condition or something like that. So let's create the function like function find highest score. We give it an array. Okay, now this array represents this. So what we do is for loop for base case, let I equals to 0, so long that I is smaller than array.length. Now we do this because this could change. This is a variable, so we want our function to be reusable. Increment the I. Okay. Now, what we do here, how do we find this function? Well, as we presented in the previous video, that we could loop through this like for loop. Like this represents, if we do console.log array in the position of I, and then if we call this function with scores, we see 25, 13, and always like do these things so you would recognize it. Like if we do index, then this represents the index of 0, 1, 2. We see 0 as 25 like this. Oh, okay. So now we know we have access into the array like 0, 1, 2, 3. How do we find the highest? Well, the easiest way is to say like compare this to that, and if this is greater, then like assign max to this, then go on to this like this. If we have the diagram, like we loop through this and we loop through an array, say the array of boxes. When we loop through this array of boxes, what we do is first we assign max to this, like we say this is the biggest. Let's make it a bit smaller. So this is our biggest box, but let's find the biggest box. Well, compare this to this. If this is bigger, then we will get rid of this and this. Compare this to this. If this is bigger, okay, this is not bigger, so we compare this to this. If this is bigger, then throw this away and find this. And when the length of the array finishes, then we are done. So what we can do, we can at first say let max equals to array in the position of the 0. So now we have a maximum number which represents 25. Now let's compare 13 to 25. Now, to avoid any kind of like confusion, we should start from 1 here. Why? Because we already have the array in the position of 0 and it's max. So Here we should start from 1, and we should have a conditional if array in the position of I, that here or here or here is greater than max. What we do if the array in the position of max is greater than, then max equals array in the position of I. So how does it work? Well, we have array in the position of 0, this 25, which equals to maximum. Then we say like I is equal to 1, so I is not equal to 0, is equal to 1. So long I is smaller than the length of this, increment I. Okay, if array in the position of I of 13 is greater than max, then max is equal to 13, array in the position of I. Otherwise, go through it. So 13 is not greater than 25, so it goes to 66. Then it says, well, 66 is greater than 25, so max is equal to 66. Now it becomes 2. Now it comes here, it ignores it. It comes here, it says like, okay, now it equals to 4. Because so long array in the position of I is greater than max, we assign max to that, to the value of that index. And here it stops because there is no longer something greater than 88 in this. And at the end, always remember to return max. And in order not to be confused, let's just assign this into a value like const result equals to this. Then let's log our result. We see 88. Now, in order to test this, we could say 129. We should have 129. To be sure, also to be adept at using this, we could actually return two things like max is equal to, we could also create something called let max index equals to 0. So we have index of max which currently is equal to 0, and we say like max index equals to I. Now we return an object which says like max and max index. Okay. Now if we now like do this, we see max 129, max index is 2 because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2. And if we put something like 222 here, this will change to max is 222, max index is 8. Now how come this returns an object? Because object is key value pairs. Well, in JavaScript, when you do not like assign a key, it makes this both key and value. So we could either do max number and max index. If we do this, now it will change it to max number and max index. However, if we leave it like, it will just give us back max and max index. I added this just to like know how to play with your array. This helps you really get good at like working with loops. Thanks.